Moving on, President Joe Biden got interviewed by Stephanie Ruhle on MSNBC, and one of the questions plus Biden's answer was interesting to me. So during almost every one of these interviews, as we've seen, he gets asked about his age and what he has to say to voters who are concerned about that fact going into the 2024 election now that he's officially announced. And it's a fair concern. I will say, for me, the number isn't important. It's how sharp you are mentally and your health and all of that, which aging can, of course, affect. But the general concern, I think, when people say age is what I just listed. And we've gotten different answers over the last few months from Biden. He's gone with the kind of watch me do my thing answer. He's also at times played it off as if it's something people aren't really concerned about. And in this interview, I think he had the best and most impactful answer that he's given so far, the most effective answer to give on this. So let's take a look at that. There's a bit of buildup in this clip to the part that I'm referencing, but then you'll hear what I'm talking about. And then we have other things to discuss as well afterwards in regard to 2024.
Made it clear to the American people that you want to stay in this job. You have officially announced you're running for re-election. And in your first video, you featured Vice President Harris 10 times. When Obama was in that position, he didn't mention you, sir. What are you trying to tell us?
Well, the President Obama and I became very good friends. We just had a slightly different style of how we do things. As you recall, every major initiative President Obama had, I was the last guy in the room deciding that with him, giving him the advice what we should do. And he's committed to help in any way he can this time out. But look, I just think that Vice President Harris hasn't gotten the credit she deserves. She was an Attorney General of the state of California. She has been a United States Senator. She is really very, very good. And with everything going on, she hasn't gotten the attention she deserves.
Critics would say you're elevating her because they think you wouldn't serve a full term. And it is fair to say that there's not a Fortune 500 company in the world looking to hire a CEO in his 80s. So why would an 82-year-old Joe Biden be the right person for the most important job in the world?
Because I've acquired a hell of a lot of wisdom. I know more than the vast majority of people. I'm more experienced than anybody who's ever run for the office. And I think I've proven myself to be honorable as well as also effective.
So just analyzing this from a political strategy point of view, it could be that leaning into the age rather than ignoring it, kind of leaning into it, recognizing rather than ignoring it or pretending people aren't really concerned about it, could be a good way to go about it for Biden, because it's true that his age is a part of the reason he's had a lot of time to acquire a lot more knowledge. He called it wisdom about things and experience being gained that is relevant to the job of president. So saying, heck yeah, I'm going to break my own record if I win in 2024 for the oldest president in American history. And that's why I have more to run on and more knowledge, more qualified, and all of that. That could be more effective than other messages we've heard from him for sure. Now, the difficulty with Biden is, as we've talked about, he is really having a tough time effectively communicating in a lot of situations. I've said many times, I think people are incorrect and hyperbolic when they go, he can't get through a sentence and he doesn't know where he is or whatever. But obviously his communication ability has definitely diminished, and being able to be an effective communicator is a really important part of the job of president when you have the largest megaphone on the planet. And also people perceive, sometimes accurately, sometimes inaccurately, the diminishing of communication ability as the diminishing of mental acuity generally. So it's not unfair for people to be concerned, but assuming Biden becomes the Democratic nominee, this is going to be a big part of the discussion. So watching how his campaign and how he is deciding to message on it is actually a larger thing than I think I would have expected. And one element that I think will play in Biden's favor on this, or make it less damaging to him, is the fact that Trump will be his opponent likely, who is also not particularly young. So I'll say also, the wild thing is and this always pops in my head when we have these discussions about his age, about people's concern about it and all that. When you just objectively analyze Biden's policy accomplishments, they're massive. There's so many things we have discussed and could discuss now, but just simply, if you put together in your mind the American Rescue Plan at the beginning of his administration, the bipartisan infrastructure bill, and the Inflation Reduction Act, we haven't seen anything like that for decades from a president. So the fact that really, let's just be honest, his time in front of cameras and his messaging is making those things seem less significant to a lot of people, or it doesn't impact them in their perception as much as it would from somebody else, is really unfortunate. While we're on the subject of 2024, analyzing a possible Trump-Biden rematch, I do think the clip I'm about to show you, if things keep going in this direction, will play a lot in Biden's favor. Take a look at this.
Jobs report. We added 250,000 jobs last month. That's on top of the 12 million jobs we've already added just since we came in office a little over 2 years ago. Unemployment rate is at 3.4%, which is the lowest in 50 years. Black employment has hit a record low. And the really good news is working age Americans are participating in the labor force at the highest rate in 15 years, not just since the pandemic, in 15 years. And the working age women are participating at the highest rate in 75 years. Inflation is now down 40% since last summer. It's come down the last 9 months in a row. We obviously have more work to do, but we're trending in the right direction.
The economy always has such a huge effect on any given election. So if inflation keeps coming down, unemployment stays low, jobs numbers stay strong, wages increase, that will give Biden a lot better of a shot against Trump, assuming those are the two nominees. Could change, but assuming that's the case. But because we're talking about 2024, not to ruin your day, but we did just get this Washington Post ABC News poll that is just honestly a little disturbing. And it shows a possible Trump-Biden rematch and then a possible Biden-DeSantis matchup. And in both, the Republican is leading. You can see Trump over here with 36% saying they'll definitely vote for Republican, 9% saying probably vote for the Republican, being Trump. And then on Biden's side, you have 32% saying definitely, 6% saying probably. So the definitely's and the probablys being added together, you have 45% saying Trump and 38% saying Biden, leaving 18% who are undecided, or someone else or neither or wouldn't vote. And then DeSantis also leads Biden. So that's unbelievable. I mean, Trump has a good shot of winning once again. The guy who attempted to overthrow American democracy and keep himself president, despite the fact that he lost the election. We are far way out. Other polls show Biden leading, but that's that. I mean, we saw it, and we're not going to deny reality when we come across annoying reality or scary reality. We're truly headed into an absolutely wild and terrifying 2024 presidential election season. And I'll leave you for this segment on that note.